My name is Francis Ridge. I'm the coordinator of the Lunascan project since its inception in September of '95. The first 30 minutes of this video was basically to show the configuration of the equipment and the state of the art at a point right around the time we tracked the object around the moon. A lot has happened since then. The original idea was to have a 30-minute video based on a documentary on U-09-2196, and then after that fill it up with another half hour or so of some of our best videos. But every time we started to produce it, something would happen, and we thought, well, maybe we ought to add that instead, or maybe we should wait for this so we can do that much better. So basically what I want to do is bring you up to date on what's happened since our last session. Our last session was number 28. We had that in the middle of October, so it's been almost 4 months since our last session, and it's all due to weather. And it's kind of frustrating to have all this at our disposal and not be able to use it. So we're waiting for a weather and a lunar window in February this month, hopefully. But since the middle of October, a number of things have happened. First of all, on the 31st of October, we obtained a crystal-controlled WWV receiver for audio time dubbing. Previous to that, we had to use a tunable receiver, which had an LOS, or loss of signal, just when we needed it the most. Even the new one has some LOS, however, but hang on, we got around that too. Secondly, on November 21st, our C-mount adapter, ordered last April, came in, so we can now use a number of telephoto lenses previously unadaptable on the other two cameras as needed. We have actually three cameras that we use, actually 4, including the one that's running right now. On December 1st, we got the SkyPro software to process our images. Quite an improvement over C-Show and L-View. And right now we're still going over the instructions. It's quite complicated. On December 31st, we purchased a remote video camera mic, which I'm using right now. Hopefully it's working all right. With this unit attached to the operator, whether we're in the control room or out by the scope, communications can be dubbed on the soundtrack of the data tape, along with the WWV time signal from Fort Collins, Colorado. We do this by putting the voice on track A and WWV on track B. And then on January 30th, we received the TG105 time date generator to dub the video with the important video information. This allows fast forwarding to locate a time segment. It also makes sure we have a time dub, because as I said before, we can't always depend on the Fort Collins, Colorado signal. The TG105, as you can see from the bottom of the screen, puts Lunascan number 029, which means that we are set and ready to go for session 29. The last session was 28, and those sessions can vary from 1.5 to 6 hours, depending on weather permitting, and of course the moon being up. On the right below that, it gives the year, the month, the date, the day, and then it gives the time in military time, local time, and seconds. Now the time dubbing from the audio is coordinated universal time. So on the screen you would see for 7 p.m. you would see 1900 hours, but on the audio dubbing it would be 0 hours, depending on whether it's what time of the year it is, whether it's daylight saving or Central Standard Time, which we switch back and forth on. But the main thing is we have, one thing I might mention at this point, we have targeting schedules for future sessions. we're doing legitimate research on LTPs. I mean, if that's all we did, we would be content with that, and we'll learn a lot from that, and it'll be well worth it. But while we're at it, and with the resolution that we have acquired through the procedures we're using, resolution at around 0.3 at best, whenever the weather is perfect with the equipment that we have, it is very close, well, to the optimum for seeing conditions, the Hubble being 0.1. But we will be taking some close looks at some of the areas that Hoagland has talked about. There's been a lot of talk and no action about checking these things out, and my theory is there are probably a dozen targets out there, and if you take, for instance, the Shard, if it's 1.5 miles tall with our resolution and with the right co-longitude, with the right shadows, the shadow from that object would be anywhere from 3 to 6 miles in length. So if it's there, we'll see it. Some of the targets that we'll be looking at very closely, when we always look at Mare Crisium, it's always been a fascinating target for me. But we'll be looking at the Crisium spire, which is at 14.4 north, 52.9 east, if it's there, of course. We'll be taking taking a close look at Eucurt, the tetrahedral triangle inside the crater, and I really don't expect to see anything there. Eucurt is a large crater. It doesn't look to me any different than any other crater, but we'll take another look. Mosting A, the Shard, and Mosting A, the cube tower. Again, if it's there, surely we'll find it. Between our equipment here and Charles Genevieve's down at Louisiana, he actually used a 10-inch and gets resolution right around 0.3, and we're using a 16. So between the two of us and a number of other people, if it's there, we'll find it. Surveyor 6, the Sinus Meaty Dome area. Also, Eucurt, the Los Angeles area, known as Los Angeles area. Treisnecker crater, the Castle. Eucurt and the reflections. There are a number of things to look for, and I don't really expect to see them, but if they're there, we will. Another area that we'll look at is the Archimedes platform, which was, I believe, discovered by David Darling from Alpo, and I've seen high-resolution pictures of that, but I'd like to take a look at it with the scope too and see what we see.